Hi, I'm Rob Patterson. I'm at the Queen Street Commons with the Startup Canada Tour of Prince Edward Island, and my guest tonight is Mike Newman of the Newman Estate Winery. Hi Mike, tell us a little bit about you and the winery.
I'm the owner of Newman Estate Winery. We're the third winery in Prince Edward Island. We got licensed last September, and we first listed our blueberry wine is what we listed into the liquor store. It was very successful. And it's been very well received. It was more of a dessert wine, and then we're transitioning this year, and like most wineries, we're all releasing our wines from the last year's harvest. So we'll be releasing a red wine and a white wine this year. So.
Fantastic. Now, when you think of Prince Edward Island, you don't think of wine, and there must be quite a technical challenge, or maybe there isn't.
Well, yes and no. I think what's happening now is wineries are really starting up everywhere, and it's really something that's more associated with the food that goes with the region, and that's why we're starting to see Nova Scotia is now becoming a pretty big region, and southeastern PEI is a similar climate to that. So what we're starting to see is that wineries are opening up in every region, and they're really starting to balance out with what the food is. So it's actually a very positive future in the sense that we have such a strong food component here, and it's ever growing. Wineries is really just the next step here. So
now in beer, craft beer, artisanal beer is really been giving suds a run for its money. Are you seeing the same kind of thing in, should we say, local wineries?
Yes, I believe so. The main challenge I think we have with wineries is really, in particular this area, is getting our costs down is something that we have. And in order to give a run, we really need to focus on that. And wine's challenging in the sense that it takes so long to really get started. And then once you establish, then you can really start to get the cost down. I believe so. I'm taking a different approach this year. We're putting our wine out of equal quality, if not even better, of the main yellowtail, barefoot, your mass-producing wines. So we're coming out this year with a price point at $12.50 for somewhere in that range, like $12 to $15 range, and that's really what other wines are doing.
So many entrepreneurs are told, you must be mad. What happened to have Mike Newman go into the wine business in Prince Edward Island?
I think for me it started off just as a hobby. I was working, and everyone sort of has their little dream, and I just really got into grape growing at first, and then was making beer, making wine, and then the first time I really started growing grapes, it didn't really work out too well, but then learned from my mistakes, customed, made the changes, and then I planted 3 acres, and it really started to work. And then from there, it really becomes, from my standpoint, it's just you get too deep eventually, and it's just you build you plant 3 acres, and then you plant another 7 acres, and the next thing you know, you're building a building and you're buying tanks. So it really comes to a point where you really have to make a decision: are you going for it or not? And from my standpoint, I always had confidence in myself, and I always had confidence in the people that helped, and I had a huge amount of support structure around me. A lot of volunteers of just friends and family, and it just, like I said, you just get so involved and so deep in it, and then it just builds from there. So.
Now, talking about helping you, governments here really do want to help, but they're very used to supporting the big and the conventional. If you could ask for what you really wanted from the support system here, what would that be?
Really, there's a lot of programs, and just really looking at sort of someone to maybe guide over all that, or just for an entrepreneur, one-stop shop for us to kind of go to and figure something out. And I'm really just kind of taking the government approach just now, and that's given it's 2012. I've been at this since 2006, and the reality is I haven't even touched government, just even, and like I said, just looking at it now, and mainly because of that was there probably was help out there. It's just from my perspective of being a startup, it was just there was a lot going on, and I just couldn't really sort out, get the help that probably was there.
So if they could actually just make it easier to find and maybe make it less programmatic and have a person that you could deal with, would that help?
Yeah, like I know from my perspective, it's just I've probably told the exact same story many times, and it's just there really just doesn't seem to be centralized. So if you could literally tell your story to one person, that person would, or one organization, they'd understand where your challenges are, and then that way guide you towards the right path. Personally, I haven't really figured out that government funding model yet, so but still working on it. I think there's definitely light at the end of the tunnel, I guess. So,
Mike, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good.